What if I told you that SpongeBob's home is actually named after one of the most radioactive places on Earth? A place where massive nuclear bombs shook the ocean. A place where entire islands were evacuated, and history changed forever. Most people hear Bikini Bottom and think of colorful jellyfish, Krabby Patties, and goofy cartoons. But the real Bikini isn't funny. Just Bikini Atoll. A tiny Pacific island where the United States conducted some of the largest nuclear weapons tests in history. And once you learn what happened there, it's almost impossible to hear that theme song the same way again. Was SpongeBob secretly inspired by the aftermath of nuclear testing? Or is this one of the darkest coincidences in animation history? Tonight, we're diving into one of the internet's most disturbing cartoon theories. Let's start with the facts. Bikini Atoll is real. It's located in the Marshall Islands, deep in the Pacific Ocean. In 1946, just after World War II, the United States military chose Bikini Atoll as the site for Operation Crossroads. The goal? To discover exactly what nuclear weapons could do to naval fleets. The local islanders were forced to leave their homes. They were told the move would be temporary. Many never truly returned. Over the following years, the United States conducted 23 nuclear tests in and around Bikini Atoll. Some explosions were detonated in the air. Others exploded underwater. The shockwaves ripped through the ocean. Towering mushroom clouds rose into the sky. Radioactive fallout spread across nearby islands. Even decades later, parts of Bikini Atoll remained contaminated. Now here's where things become interesting. SpongeBob doesn't live in Ocean Town. He doesn't live in Coral City. He lives in Bikini Bottom. The very bottom of Bikini Atoll. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe the show's creators deliberately chose one of the most famous nuclear testing sites in history because they knew people would eventually ask questions. This is where the theory takes a darker turn. What if every resident of Bikini Bottom isn't just a cartoon character, but a survivor? Not of war, not of disaster, but of radiation. Let's start with SpongeBob himself. People often call him a kitchen sponge, but that's not actually what he is. According to the show's creators, SpongeBob is a sea sponge. Real sea sponges don't naturally grow into perfect yellow cubes with razor-sharp corners. They grow in irregular shapes. Round, lumpy, organic. So why is SpongeBob perfectly square? The theory suggests radiation altered his biology, creating a bizarre mutation unlike anything found in nature. His endless optimism, his boundless energy, even his strange ability to survive almost anything, could all be exaggerated mutations. Of course, in reality, radiation doesn't create cartoon superpowers or perfectly square animals. This is where the theory shifts fully into speculation. But that's exactly why so many fans find it fascinating. Then there's Patrick Star. A normal starfish can regenerate lost limbs. Patrick takes things much further. He's incredibly durable. But he's also astonishingly unintelligent. Could his constant confusion be symbolic of neurological damage? Again, there's no scientific evidence connecting Patrick to radiation. But within the theory, his childlike behavior becomes another possible consequence of mutation. And what about Squidward? Ironically, he isn't even a squid. He's actually an octopus. Yet instead of 8 arms, he only has 6. The show's creators have said this was a design choice because fewer limbs were easier to animate. But conspiracy fans see something else. Missing limbs, altered anatomy, permanent physical abnormalities. His constant bitterness, his exhaustion, his frustration with the world, all become symptoms of someone trapped inside a life forever changed. Then there's the biggest mystery of all. Sandy Cheeks, a squirrel, living underwater. Oh, the show tells us she's simply wearing a diving suit. But the theory asks a different question. What if that isn't just a diving suit? What if it's actually a hazmat suit? Protection. Not from water, but from radiation. Think about it. She's incredibly intelligent. She's an inventor. A scientist. She constantly performs experiments. She collects data. She studies marine life. Almost as if she was sent there. Not by chance, but by a government agency tasked with monitoring the strange life forms created after nuclear testing. Again, this is pure fan speculation, but it's one of the reasons the theory has remained so popular online. Now let's examine the clues fans point to inside the show itself. One of the strangest recurring visuals is something many viewers never questioned as kids. The explosions. Throughout the series, large live-action mushroom cloud explosions suddenly appear as transition effects or comedic gags. They're quick. They're funny. Most children barely notice them. But why use real footage that resembles nuclear mushroom clouds in a cartoon set beneath Bikini Atoll? Some fans argue these visuals are subtle nods to the location's history. Others believe they're simply stylized explosions added for humor. There isn't any official confirmation that these shots are references to Operation Crossroads. Still, once you notice them, it's hard to ignore the connection. Even the show's tropical aesthetic mirrors the real Pacific Islands where those tests occurred. Bright skies, palm trees, crystal clear water, beautiful scenery, hiding an unsettling past. So, what if Bikini Bottom isn't really a magical underwater city? What if it's something far more tragic? A place where nature adapted, survived, and changed after one of humanity's greatest technological horrors. Not a fantasy, but a reminder. A monument resting quietly beneath the ocean. To be clear, there's no evidence that SpongeBob SquarePants is literally about radioactive mutations. Series creator Steven Hillenburg, a marine science educator, said the show was created to celebrate ocean life through comedy. The nuclear connection remains an internet fan theory, not established canon. But sometimes, fiction becomes even more fascinating when it brushes against real history. Because the next time someone sings, "Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?" you might remember that the sea in question has a very real story beneath it. So, what do you think? Is Bikini Bottom simply a clever name inspired by a real location? Or did the creators quietly plant historical references that most of us completely missed? Let me know your theory in the comments below. If you enjoyed uncovering the darker side of childhood cartoons, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Toon Theories, and turn on notifications. Because sometimes, the happiest cartoons hide the darkest secrets. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next theory.